instrumental murderer. You already know what time it is. Gangway, we the team. Look, I've been really trying to get it, but the people got their handle in my business. Let's go. People say I need to listen, but the way I be too busy flipping, gotta change the way I'm living. Plus, these enemies ain't no friends to me. They Hennessy, get them froggy, they gon' rest in peace. They testing me, pray to God that they let me be. My family need a leader, so I'm staying free. Keep it legal, I spit the leaf flows. 36 can play the game just like Otebo. Just follow me though, just let the streets know. Jersey master with the craft, know you keep the heat though. I'm talking candles, put that name on the mantle, I dismantle all your squad, pick apart, leave them all examples. Them coppers be taking samples, nothing left. I burnt Good morning, everyone. Welcome on this new day. Wonderful new week, Monday morning. We got a special episode for y'all, man. We're going to do a live Q&A answering session for people right now, man. We got two special guests. I'm going to let them introduce yourself now. AJ and Laura, welcome to the show. Welcome.
Thank you.
Appreciate you having me.
And tell the people a little bit about what you guys do. AJ, if you start with you, and then Laura.
All right, cool. My name is AJ Sloane. I'm a mortgage broker with East Coast Mortgage, and I'm the financial side of any type of, like, if you're looking to purchase a home, talk to first-time home buyers, refis, bills, and anything like that. So, you have those questions, I'm here to answer.
Nice. Laura.
I'm a Realtor Associate Broker with Howard Hanna, and I've been working pretty closely with AJ, and together we have gotten some deals done really fast, which is pretty exciting because we both work many hours, very late, all over the place, weekends, holidays, whatever, to get it done. So it's been pretty good.
Nice. AJ, if you don't mind me asking, how did you get into becoming a broker?
So I actually started off as like a part-time teller at BB&T, which is now Truist, and I kind of moved up the ranks. And I started out in Virginia, and then I moved to Michigan. And so I was a personal banker at Fifth Third Bank, and then I moved into the mortgages. And probably within the first couple months is when I kind of got involved with Laura in doing that. And so, again, my goal was to always see better my customers. And when I was just in the banking center, I can see there was times where, they would ask questions about mortgages. I wouldn't know the answer. And so I would have to refer them out. And then I got to a point where I was just like, hey, what if I just do this myself? And so I got out of the branches and into my own world of being a mortgage loan officer. And then I switched over to the broker world, which the broker world, the difference between being in a bank and being a broker is that I have so many different lenders that offer so many different products for individuals with, good credit, bad credit. Before I used to say, hey, the bank is set on this credit score, and if you didn't have this credit score, I couldn't help you, and I had to send you other places. In the world that I am now, doesn't really matter. I can have a lender that offers so many different things to get someone a home. So that's been like the biggest benefit to me in doing that.
Wow. So you're able to help a broader range of people, in a sense, get approved.
Correct.
That wouldn't traditionally be approved. That's what's up.
Correct.
How can a brother get into that for someone interested in, maybe, because we don't see a lot of brothers that look like us in this world, in this space. Is that true for you? Has that been your experience too?
Yeah, I mean, even in the banking world, when I first started just being in banking in Virginia, I could probably mention it probably is like I was the only African American just period in my area. And a guy at that. You don't see that many guys working in the bank anyway. And then on the mortgage side, I mean, I do have a couple African American colleagues, but at the same time, I mean, it's very rare. It's something that you kind of just have to continue to go after, really, because you're not gonna find that many. To my knowledge, you don't find that many. So, it's just something you just want to push to. You gotta want to be one to go after it because they're not going to be handed to you. I've had to earn Laura's business. And making sure that it works both ways. So it's I'm talking to her, giving her customers and building her trust to let her know that, hey, I'm going to do this regardless. Laura will call me on a Saturday, text me on a Sunday, at any point in time, at night as well, just to make sure that I'm taking care of her customers. And again, it's just continuously building that trust. So you got to be able to put yourself out there, because in the broker world, I mean, they're not just going to come to you. You have to go get it.
Yes, yes. And I got one more question. I don't want to hold you
Yeah.
up too much,
No, you're good.
but for the people that have never experienced what it's like, or what do they need to do to purchase a home, what can you tell for our people who are generationally, we're maybe new to buying a home, we've never done it before? What are the things that we should prepare ourselves for?
So I would say the first thing you need to know is, again, the basics is knowing your credit score. And the other thing is really not wanting to be renting. Because I was in the same boat where me and my wife are renting, and rent can go up at any point in time. The landlord can raise your rent. With the mortgage world, is not that you. It's a lot easier for you to be able to get into a home and have a stable, mortgage payment. It's not going to jump up like a rent would do. The other thing is just you have to talk to somebody. Like, I have a lot of people that try to do stuff on their own. And I mean, there are professionals out there that our job is to help you. Like, there's several times where Laura will send somebody to me and I'm like, have you checked your credit score? And they're like, no. Well, I mean, we have to know, we have to have a baseline. And a lot of the basic questions that I start off with is, what's your credit score? Well, what are you comfortable with? Do you know what's on your credit report? And a lot of people don't know. And realistically, I worked in a bank for almost 3 years before me and my wife decided to try to go buy a home. And I asked a banker asked me the same question. I was like, oh, I have no idea. And I had stuff on my credit that I didn't even know was on there. I just always thought, hey, I have bad credit, so I'm not going to look at it. Like, I've worked with people that have had horrible credit. They've gone through bankruptcy and things like that. And I've gotten them in a home. But you've got to start somewhere. You've got to talk to a professional. You've got to be able to do stuff, with a professional, and not try to do everything on your own. I don't know how many times me and Laura have got with people and they're trying to look at houses and they're trying to do stuff on their own without help, and they're running into brick walls. Well, it's our job. We do this 24 hours a day. We sit and we look at numbers, or we're able to look at the market more than you do. You have a job that, let's say if you have a 9-to-5 job, you can't do that 9-to-5 job and look for a house and try to calculate all that. It's our job to do that for you. And so we take pride in doing that.
And the thing about the credit score too is Credit Karma is not always accurate. I mean, even if they think that their credit score is a certain credit score, they need to double check and have you pull it. Or how would they go about getting the actual correct score if they were to try to pull their own?
So I actually had a conversation with somebody last night about the exact same thing. They asked me about Credit Karma. They told me what their Credit Karma score. So there's two types of scores. There's a FICO score and there's a Vantiv score. Most of the Credit Karma will pull your Vantiv score. Vantiv is used for like credit cards, sometimes even for like cars, some of those basic things. When you see on television where they're telling you, you can raise your credit score by putting your, Netflix or your subscriptions on there, they're partially correct. It does raise your credit score, but it raises your credit score for a Vantiv. On the mortgage side, mortgage scores don't really care about if you paid your Netflix on time, if you've done that. So there's a FICO score that you use. A lot of times I tell people to use myfico.com because that'll give you your true FICO score. So if somebody says, hey, I pulled my FICO and it was a 680, I'm more inclined to believe them to have a 680 than somebody that says, hey, I just checked my Credit Karma this morning and my Credit Karma said I had a 700. Because there's been several times where I've had somebody tell me, hey, my credit score is at a 700. I pull it and it's like 620.
Yep.
So it's a whole lot. It's two separate things. When you deal with pulling credit, you just have to make sure you're pulling it from the right, because the mortgage world is going to pull a totally different score than what most people will look at with their sites, with the sites that they have downloaded.
I think the one nice thing about Credit Karma, I don't trust their scores, but I think the nice thing about it is at least it has people kind of keep track of what they have out there in debt wise so they can
Mhm.
work on their credit, which is super important. But they cannot go by those scores because my numbers have been off by 60 points at any given time on my own credit. So with Credit Karma. So don't trust the score, but trust the what you have for payments and what you're falling behind on. That's really important. And a number one thing I think people need to know is beside getting pre-approved, that's the first thing you have to do before you can even start working with me to shop for houses. Um, but once you get pre-approved, that means you have the ability to write an offer, but that doesn't mean you're 100% fully approved that you're going to get the house. You cannot go buy a car or new furniture because that's going to mess everything up. That can affect the debt to income and all that. And you can go into more detail about that, AJ. But um, I've seen, because a lot of times my daughter's friends will go through me. My daughter's 30, so she's got a lot of like the first time home buyer group, and they'll go through me, and then I'm on their Facebook and I'll see that they're getting ready to buy a boat or they're getting ready to buy a car, and I'll be like, no, do not do that because that can mess everything up. So that's something that people need to definitely keep in mind.
Yeah, so when you deal with being pre-approved, so the my pre-approved process is that I pull your credit score, I get your pay stubs, W-2s, and verify your income right before I give the pre-approval. Once you get into that realm, it's great idea to make no huge financial decisions. I just had to, well, actually, me and Laura just had to deal with someone that did the exact same thing, where you're just like, hey, well, you can't purchase this, or you can't spend this type of money, or you can't do several things where financially I have to look at, because I have a debt to income, which is also DTI, that I have to maintain, and if somebody goes over that, then that loan doesn't work. I've had a situation where I've pre-qualified somebody or pre-approved somebody with two jobs, and we went through the entire process, and then they decided, hey, they weren't going to work their second job, and I got that when I did a verification of employment. Found out that they quit their job. Now the home falls through because you decided to make a big financial decision without letting me know. My goal is not to be a quote unquote babysitter, but at the same time, I have to answer to an underwriter. And if that underwriter sees something that changes, then I have to go back to you and say, hey, well, why'd you do this? Because this didn't work because you did X, Y, and Z. So, when you're starting that housing process, it's always a good idea just to not do anything, buying a car, buying a boat, changing jobs. If you're going to do something like that, consult your lender first. Don't consult the real estate agent, because they won't know. A lot of times, even if me and Laura do have a good relationship, there's a lot of things that I do not discuss with Laura because it's just based on the lending side that she won't know, or sometimes she won't even care about, but I'll have to do that on my own. So you have to make sure, if that's something that you're going to do, something like that, then you always just let me know, or just throw that out there, to make sure. I have people all the time ask me, hey, AJ, I'm thinking about doing this. Should I do it? And I can tell you, oh yeah, it's not going to bother anything, or no, if you do that, these are the consequences for doing that while we're in the loan process.
Yeah, I kind of forewarn people, but at the end of the day, he's the one that crunches the numbers. And so when people try to ask me questions about their finances and all that sort of stuff, that's everything I refer back over to AJ because that's not my scope of this practice. It's I'm bringing buyers and sellers together and I am going to help them in another avenue, but everything to do with their bank information, I don't know any of that sort of stuff. That is, and their credit score, I can't pull their credit score. That is all for AJ to take care of. And then once he gets them pre-approved, he hands them to me, and then I kind of help them through every step. And when they have questions like that, and then if there's a question that is for him, I will send it back to him to give them a more accurate
Yeah,
answer.
yeah. And this next question I was thinking about as a case manager, because I work with a lot of people that have been in generational poverty, meaning like their mom lived in subsidized housing, their grandma lived in subsidized housing, right? So traditionally they've lived in subsidized housing and they don't understand how to transform the mindset from living in subsidized housing to trying to get into that ownership.
Mhm.
And you mentioned that key word, that debt to income ratio. Um, for plainly as you could possibly make it, can you break down how a person can transform from being in debt to getting ready to purchase a home? Like, what do they need to do as far as that debt to income ratio? Like, how do they need to attack that?
So again, the first thing is knowing what's on your credit report. There's been several people, because that's usually the first question I ask. Do you know what your credit score is, and have you looked at your credit? You don't know how many times people have come to me to try to buy a home, and I ask that question. They're like, I don't know what my credit score is, and I haven't checked my credit report. So that's the first thing. Me, for example, I had when the first time I checked my credit, it was like 2 or 3 years after I had lived in college. I had two roommates, and apparently there was something that the our housing put on my credit, and I had no idea. It was up there for like 2 years. So it's being those type of things, because there's a lot of times, even when I pull people's credit, I actually go over their credit with them, because there's been several times where I've told you, hey, it looks like you owe this, and they're like, no, I don't. And I'm like, okay, like, I'm gonna check your social again, but yeah, you owe this person X amount of dollars, and they have no idea about it. Because if there's something on your credit report and you're not paying it and it's being reported, it's negatively affecting your credit score every month, because it's reported to the credit bureau every month if you haven't paid something. So that's the first thing. The second thing, when it comes to calculating your debt to income, and the easiest way is whatever you're paying on your credit report, divide that by your income. That's it. You'll get your debt to income. A lot of banks, a lot of your local banks, your debt to income is between 43 and 45. That they have to stay. Mine's is 50, so I can do 50% debt to income. But yeah, calculate what you owe on your credit report, not what you pay a month. A lot of people are like, "Hey, I pay this, this, this." It's not. It's only what's reported to the actual credit bureau. You take that number, you do the monthly payments, not the total amount. It's your monthly payments. Divide that by your income, and that'll get you your debt to income.
Okay,
Or the
that
other
makes
thing,
sense.
the DTI. That's usually what it says, DTI.
Another thing too, when it comes to jobs, it does make a difference if somebody were to change a position in their company from a salary to a weekly pay or vice versa, right, AJ? Does that make a
Yep.
difference? Because I've dealt
Yeah.
with that
Mhm.
before. Yeah. You
Yeah,
just
that
can't
makes
change
sense.
anything. Don't close cards. Don't, get new cards. Just, I always tell people to stay the same that they've been all the way till they get to that closing table. Once they get the keys at that closing table, I don't care if they buy 10 cars. I don't care what they do after that. But do not change a thing until we get there.
and it's even small things, like, so I've had somebody get excited about purchasing a home, and we're almost at the closing table, haven't got it the full approval yet, and then they went out and bought furniture for the house. So they put it on a store
Mhm.
card, and the debt to income was already tight in the beginning. So what people don't understand is that there's two things that we check at the beginning and at the end. So we verify your employment, and obviously we pull your credit to see what's on your credit. Then right before the underwriter gives us the clear to close, he or she is going to request again a verification of employment to make sure that you're still at your employer. And then the second thing, we do a soft pull. You'll get a soft pull at the end, and that soft pull will see if you've acquired any other debt or anything like that. Well, in my example, they did acquire. They put the furniture on there, and my debt to income went from like 49% all the way up to 51. Now
Mm.
I'm over my allotted amount at that 50%. Now we had to rework some things to get it back below. We were able to complete the loan, but small things like that will change. So if you do anything, like I said, one or two things: either let your lender know or let me know, or just wait until after we get what's called the clear to close.
Because that stress goes on us, and then we're up in the middle of the night trying to
Yeah.
figure this out.
Because then if I get something like that, the underwriter usually will call me and say, "Hey, we just saw this," or, their employment changed in this way. And then I have to call the real estate agent and say, hey, this is the reason why we don't have a clear to close, when I told you we were close to having that. And me and Laura have had that several times, but we've worked through it.
And the thing
Nice.
is when he said about the building the trust, we are all pretty, we want to make our clients happy. We work for our clients. And,
Right.
I've had inspectors where, one would make it right with a client, and that's fantastic. I've only had a couple times when people have complained about, just literally 2 times. And then the other one would not make it right with my client, and I never used them again. And so as far as building trust, like what I love about AJ is he works like I do. I mean, he got a hold of me at 7:30 at night to tell me we had to clear to close. Where sometimes some people will only work the 9 to 5, and I can't have that because
See.
we had to close. And I love that
Yeah.
we had that, we're on it like a dog with a bone. I mean, for real.
That
We
sets you
really
apart for
are. Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, you have
Well,
to be.
I don't want to hold you up, AJ. I know you said you ain't had that much time, but we definitely appreciate you. Is there anything else you want to drop to the users, or tell people how to get in contact with you, support your business?
Okay. So yeah, so you can contact me at online. You can do Adrian Sloane. That's Adrian. Last name Sloane, Slone. I'm on Facebook as well. I do have my own mortgage site as well on there. But you can either give me a call. My area code is 757-839-4966, or you can email me at AJ at ecomortgage.com.
Appreciate you,
Or just
brother.
ask me and I'll refer
Or
to you.
just ask Laura, and she can get all my information as well.
So
Sweet. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for coming on today, man, and joining the
thank
show,
you.
Community Soldier Podcast.
Of course. No, I appreciate you having me. Anytime, like I say, you just let me know, and I'll be able to help you.
Definitely will, brother. Appreciate you, man. Have a good day, man.
All right. Thank you, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
All right. We're gonna keep this conversation going. So, Laura, let's get to this.
This has been a long time coming, has it not? I mean, I think you asked me about this maybe even like a year ago, but I am
Yeah,
not the one that likes to be recorded and doing the public speaking and all that. So I'm just going to
I know
pretend
it.
it's just us talking.
Yes,
Um,
man.
but anyways,
This is just a conversation.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, and the thing is we do want to help the public. We do. I mean, like it's a huge this real working in real estate and in lending. I mean, you do build relationships with people, and I get very involved. I mean, I gain friendships out of it. I get emotionally like. I mean, this is a huge. Not only is this a huge purchase, but this is a huge life transition for somebody. And so, I mean, it really matters to me. Like this is like I put myself in their shoes. Like this is their life. This is huge. This is their family. I mean, their kids will be excited to get this house or whatever, or be, worried about. And I try to take the worry off of them. And then there's a lot of conversations and a lot of work that me and AJ or me and any other lender, but that we, and AJ with any other realtor too, that we are working alongside with each other long hours at night. We're trying to get everything figured out. And
Hmm.
he's the one, for example, like say once somebody gets pre-approved, then I can take him shopping, and then I can write the offer, and then I can negotiate the offer, and I can refer different inspectors out to people, and then once they're all good with that, then he orders the appraisal, and then I always make sure they stay in touch with their lender because that is who is like crucial that they, because they're going to be asked, sign this, I need you to pay for this, or, whatever that needs to be done. And so it's all a matter of us all having very good open communication with each other and listening. Like as long as a client listens to me and the lender, more than likely they're going to get the house. I mean, unless something happens where if they lost their job or something, then it might be something we have to put on hold for a while. But as long as everything stays the same and they listen to us, it's pretty much a slam dunk. So
Pretty much get them there.
yeah.
So how did you get into this? That's what I want to know.
Oh my gosh. I decades ago, because I'm 51, so decades ago, I was a
What?
nurse. Yeah, yeah, grandma.
What?
You know I'm a grandma and all that. Um, so I was a nurse for a while, just a licensed practical nurse, but I worked up in labor and delivery for a few years, and then I taught prenatal classes. I worked in OR, and then I took some time off and helped my ex-husband with his business. And then I kept thinking, I really wanted to work with people and but I didn't want to go back to nursing because I was working in labor and delivery. My kids were grown. I just wasn't into that part of my life anymore. I liked the more personable. And actually, a friend of mine's like, "Well, I'm a realtor. Why don't you come take a look what I do?" And I was like, "All right." And so I did. And then the first year was really hard. I mean, my first year was a was very they say like 90% fall out of this business in real estate. And I think my first year I grossed I think 14,000. It was tough. I was working and that doesn't count everything that all the miles and everything I had to put into it and all
Yeah.
the work that I had to do.
Yeah.
Um but it's a constant hustle, but I think I'm kind of built for it in a way.
Mhm.
I don't know, it's just I do well with people, I guess, and, I can't really think of anything else I could be good at than this, honestly. I don't know.
Well,
So,
you just
uh,
found your lane for yourself. I
I
love it.
guess, I don't know. I mean, it would be in a perfect world, I'd probably own, like, a bunch of dogs and be able to do that, but, instead, I get to help people, which is great too. I love that. So,
Is that your favorite part about like this job?
my favorite part about this job is, honestly, my favorite part about my job is first-time home buyers. I'm not gonna
Hmm.
lie. First-time home buyers are so fun. They are not jaded. They are excited. They can picture like their little family with Christmas in the house and all that sort of stuff. So that is my favorite part. It's the relationships. And also the one thing I do different than a lot, not a lot, but I guess a lot, yeah, agents is I do drive pretty far out where some agents will refer. Um, I like it because my kids are grown. Okay, I have adult children, so I can leave the house, and I will talk about that in 1 second. I just saw a piece of that, but so I can drive very far and I get to check out different places to eat and just different areas. So that's pretty cool. It's really frustrating for first time home buyers. I've talked to like 3 lenders since July of last year and they all tell me the same thing. Cosigner, even though I have significant down payment and fairly good credit, talk to AJ. I can get you his information if you didn't already get it. And then, we can work toward the one thing that people need to understand too with lenders is not only like say for example, if he can't help you, he will help you get to the point where you can have this. Okay. Like say you can't get a house right now, but if you do what he says, you can get a house in 3 months from now. So that's really important. So I would say for you, greatness, I'd reach out to AJ. Like he was just on here. But I mean, I have other lenders too. I usually refer 3 lenders out to everybody. So and it says you already went to 3 lenders. So I wonder if somebody did refer 3 lenders to you already. But you know, just don't give up. Don't give up. As long as you have your job and everything and somebody will help you. I'd be happy to work
Hmm.
with you too and see what I can do to help you.
Yeah. I think it's that debt to income ratio that really tricks up a lot of people because we're not taught these things.
Mhm,
Um, I seen a stat that said 60% of Americans live check to check, right?
mhm,
So that made me come to this thought that 60% of our society doesn't understand credit. And it's because we're not taught in school systems credit, we're not taught in college credit.
mhm,
We're not even taught like when we get into the workforce and the development system, like workforce system, how to manage credit. So especially like a lot of people that come from generational poverty,
mhm.
a lot of times our credit has been ruined before we even turned 18, right?
Right.
Um, Mama was bad and had to live in some bad situations, so
Hmm.
she had to make some choices sometimes. Um,
Well, I will
so,
tell you go ahead. I
no,
know.
go ahead. I want.
So, somebody that I know that was really close with had no credit, okay, because they bought everything with just cash, had no credit at all. So what they were able to do was they had to take $300 and put it. This was at a time. This was through Fifth Third, where he used to work at. So what they did was they had no credit, but they took their own $300 and put it in this like credit card that Fifth Third gave them. Okay, so it's really their money, and they had to get gas with it, pay it off. Get gas with it, pay it off. Use it a little bit, pay it off. That shot their credit up really, really fast. But it was their own money, but it still shot their credit up. If they missed a payment, though, even though it was their own money, it would hurt their credit. So they had to be really good with this full credit card, basically. But it made a difference. So that's what I'm saying. Don't give up. You can literally build your credit quickly. And with it, I mean, sometimes a lender will tell me they're not ready yet, but they will definitely be ready within 6 months or within 3 months. They just have to do this, this, and this. As long
Mm-hmm.
as you trust and listen to the lender about your finances, because they're the ones that have the key to the pre-approval. Okay, I
Yeah.
do the shopping, I do the negotiating and the inspections and all that with people, but I cannot pre-approve somebody. I can just guide them. I know the rules basically. So if you have no income or very, very, or no, I'm sorry, your debt to income ratio is off or you don't understand this stuff, we are always able to explain things to you. Okay. So never be afraid to ask us questions or multiple questions. Sometimes people are like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm asking a dumb question or whatever. No, you're not. This is not something you do for a living. Okay. This is something we've been doing. I've been doing it for over a decade. And I wasn't born knowing all of this myself. I had to learn it. So, just don't give up. You really can end up with a house for sure.
Mm-hmm. What's like I try to prepare people, even though they may not be in the position to buy a house, right? They could prepare their children, right?
Mhm.
I have a close family friend who told me something that they did with their daughter, and I thought that was a great idea, and it's something that I would like to mimic with my children and my grandchildren. Um, they said that they knew that they didn't have, the generational wealth to be able to pass down their children a lot of money for when they, you know, get to start in their life. But she said, what I can do is I can make sure she leaves my house with perfect credit score. And as soon as she was able to get credit, she helped her manage her credit so that she left, with a nice credit score.
Awesome.
I thought that was a great thing, and
Yes.
that's something that us parents we can help our children do. We don't
Oh,
have to.
100%. It's just instilling that, like, just communicating with your kids and teaching them that sort of stuff, which I do feel that that sort of stuff should be taught in schools. It's a disservice that's not. Um, and I mean, I grew up back in the day when we had home ec and all that sort of stuff. And I wish they still had those
Yeah.
sort of things in school. They should. But unfortunately, kids are not getting taught that sort of stuff. But like I said, I mean, we've been through hard times and, everybody has a different story, but I'm here to help. AJ's here to help. We want to help people. We want to.
Hmm.
And the thing is and here's another thing. I don't want to know what's not in my scope, okay? Because I can't fix it, and I'd rather you talk to a professional who can fix it, like AJ.
Hmm.
So, I'm always there for people as a friend and everything. But I'm just seeing what she's saying. Hold on one second. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
Student in there saying because my income is not higher, I need a cosigner.
What would you suggest I
See,
do?
okay, so again, same thing. This is a AJ question because this is talking about income and a cosigner, anything to do with the bank. That's who, and that could be the case. I don't know, but I would always get another opinion because there are different programs and each bank and each mortgage offers different things. Okay. So talk to AJ. That would be my number one
Hmm.
thing to do, honestly, or talk to a couple lenders. But as far as that, those are the type of questions that I get that I immediately refer to a lender because I just don't have those answers. But what he'll do
Hmm.
is he'll get your information and he will plug it into a system and he'll let you know the steps you need to take to make it happen.
Yes.
And good for you for being a full-time student. That's awesome. That's very cool.
Yeah, it's just I missed the AJ
Oh
segment.
no.
I know he kicked it off first. He didn't have much time to stay with us for the whole time, but he might come back. We might be able to get another episode out of this eventually. So we'll see.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
know.
He's
Now
great.
before we get out of here, Laura, I always ask people this question, and it's a hypothetical question. So you don't have to. It's no pressure with this one. This is a Jackson question. Since this is a Jackson podcast, if you had all of the resources in the world, all of the money that you needed to change a specific issue in our city, what would that be, and why would you change it?
Oh my gosh. To be honest with you, I'd probably ask you what to do. To be honest with you,
Hmm.
that'd be my number one thing because you're very involved in the community, and I work with a lot of people, but then I come home to my dogs, and I am kind of like not out as much as you are publicly.
Hmm.
So I'd probably ask you what I could do. Truthfully,
Wow.
that would be my answer.
You know what? Out of all the times I've heard that question answered, I've never heard no one answer it like that. And I appreciate that answer the most because a lot of times people in positions of power, they make a lot of choices for us. And I know you, as a woman, right, especially a woman who's been married, right,
Mhm.
traditionally, women sometimes don't always get to make their own choices, right? Sometimes men make choices for you. And it's crazy to me, right? But a lot of people in power make choices for people and they don't understand, what the real issues are or what the people are going through. So I really appreciate the way that you answered that question, and it's an example for others to do the same. There's a lot of people out there going through situations and they're close to the problem, and we believe they have the best answers for those problems.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't see everything that's on everybody's Facebook all the time because I hop on, I post something, and then I get off and I have work to do. But I do see that you're very involved in the community, and so who would be like again, like if I'm gonna send banking information to a banker, the lender information to a lender, a community help information to a community help person. Like if I have a question, that you would be my go-to person. That's how I operate. It's like if I'm not the best for the part, I'm gonna connect somebody with somebody who's the best for the part. I think it's the smart thing to do. I mean, it just makes sense to me. So yeah, you would be my go-to for sure.
All right. Well, we appreciate you, Laura. Well, thank you for joining us. I'm so glad that you
You're very
finally got a
welcome.
chance to
Yes,
come on the podcast. I've been waiting for this for a while.
I know.
Uh,
Thank
we de-
you.
and we definitely want to have you back because I know people are going to watch this and they're going to have questions, and I know they're going to want to see you. They want to talk to you again. I know they're going to.
Well, and AJ will come back on too. I did just kind of
Okay.
spring it on him last second, but like
Mhm.
I said, I mean, he works with other agents too. I work with other lenders too. I mean, it's not just solely him and I, but when we work together, we work really well together, and we are both very committed and
Mhm.
passionate, I guess, about our job and about our people. So we want the same outcome.
Mhm.
We all want the same
Yeah.
outcome. So I'm sure he'll get back on too. We can plan another day and that'd be fine. Now that I'm
Nice.
not as nervous.
Yes, I told you there was no pressure here.
Oh my God.
All right, before you go, is there anything you want to tell the people how to contact you? If they're looking to buy a house, how they can get in contact with you?
Sure. So I work at Howard Hanna and Jackson, and my phone number is 517-581-6225. I'm on Facebook and under Laura Brannigan or Howard Hanna with Laura Brannigan. But technically, I really use I hate to say this, but I really use my personal one more until I get the business page active more. So just under Laura Brannigan, I'm on your Facebook friends list. They can see that. Or if
Hmm.
they ever want to email me, Laura Brannigan at Howard Hanna. So
Sweet.
call, text, email, Facebook message, get a hold of Justin. You know how to get a
All
hold of
right.
me.
Yes. Thank you for joining. We appreciate you.
You are very welcome.
All right. Have a good day.
Me too.
All right, guys. Man, that was a good conversation, man. I love it. We need more conversations like that. I love these type of podcasts because it brings the people who have the answers to the people who need them. And we need to do more of that. But give me 1 second, guys. We're gonna come right back to you after this commercial break.
Forever rolling. Jars. Instrumental murderer. You already know what time it is. Gangway. We the team. For sure. Look. I've been really trying to get it, but the people got their handle in my business. Let's go. People say I need to listen, but the way I be too busy flipping, gotta change the way I'm living. Yes, these enemies ain't no friends to me. They Hennessy, get them froggy, they gon' rest in peace. They testing me, pray to God that they let me be. My family need a leader, so I'm staying free. Keep it legal, I spit the leaf flows. 36 can play the game just like Otebo. Just follow me though, just let the streets know. Jersey master with the crab, know he keep the heat though. I'm talking candles, put that name on the mantle, I dismantle all your squad, pick apart, leave them all examples. Them coppers be taking samples, nothing left. I burnt the
me. There's been a lot of disturbing things, but just this in particular, it's going viral since I posted it on X. Okay, but I want to start this off first with I want you to take a listen to a documentary, a thing that was aired on television about Britney Spears at 10 years old, because when we tell you it's all of them. And if you're wondering who that is Ed McMahon.
At the tender age of 10, Britney was already using her budding sexuality to attract an audience. But when the Star Search cameras turned on, Britney was transformed, pouring on a sexy southern charm the judges had never seen in a package so small.
She comes out in a very provocative gown with high heels, and all of a sudden that little girl knocks you right off your ass.
There is nothing more interesting to adult men than the development of an adolescent female. We are hardwired to recognize that.
You have the most adorable, pretty eyes. You have a boyfriend?
No, sir.
And how about me?
There's a lot of sexual energy that is oozing out of that little girl. She can't possibly manage that kind of sexuality. So as she grows up, you're going to see this split between Britney, sexual Britney, and then there's Britney. And those.
At the tender age of 10, Britney was already...
This is real. This is not AI. even people online, they were saying, Melanie, this has to be AI. People ran it through. I said, it's not. It's 100%. Grok said it is 100% real. This is from a documentary. These are the clips from this, that, and the other. This is what they think. This is who they are, guys. And when people say, things were better back then and we were more conservative. No. This is what was going on and being normalized. I mean, I can show you so much of this that went on, right? Many of you may have seen it, but understand it is all being revealed to the masses right now. People are paying attention in a new way. But the idea, the way they're talking about this 10-year-old, her being 10 years old, and she's using her sexuality. She came out there in a provocative dress and high heels. Huh? She looks like a little girl to me. I don't know about you. This is a baby. This is a baby. Look at her. There is nothing provocative with her little, this isn't a 90s dress. This is so conservative. Regardless of anything else, the idea that they felt comfortable enough to say this on television, and no one batted an eye back then. Things were not better then. It was just covered up more. We couldn't communicate. There was no social media. You just had to take whatever slop the media gave you. But now let's go back to the Epstein files and something that is very, very dark. The most disturbing thing I've seen. So I posted this and I put, "You are not angry enough." I'm going to show you what the actual picture is, okay? But then I'm going to read to you what exactly it says. So to redacted, most people think, and even Grok thinks it was actually to Ghislaine Maxwell. So this is in 2011. It says, "Of course, the "oh, Jesus is coming" trick. Meaning Jesus is coming to save you. Jesus is returning. Jesus is coming to save you. So this is what most likely Ghislaine sent to Epstein. And then they also wrote, "You should dress as him when you see her." Meaning, when you see this girl, this little girl, you should dress like Jesus. So she thinks that you are Jesus coming to save her. How do I know that? How do I know to save her? Well, this is what Epstein, this demon, demonic, grotesque. Okay. Redacted, so that's redacting out her name. Said that she felt God's presence next to her when she was in bed. She knows that Jesus watches over her and he helped save her life. Whoops. Let me say this again because I really need you to. Natalie Holloway's mom, Jeffrey Epstein, personally, they want him to be at this reception for her. Jeffrey Epstein, of all people, guys. But it gets worse. Okay, Beth Holloway, Natalie's mother, went on to date John Benet Ramsey's father. There is a picture of John Benet with Ghislaine Maxwell in the background. Grok tried to fight me on this. Some people said it's not true. Well, you always know I am the queen of a receipt. God doesn't have me speak on something unless I see it. I'm going to cut off the music because it's just some music playing, but I don't know if you can see this. In fact, I can make it bigger. Let's make it bigger so you guys can really see it. So this is one of the last photos of John Benet Ramsey. Do you see that person in the back? Oh, who is that? Who is that, guys? Oh, well, There is also, I'll put it back up for you so you can make your own reference there. I'll do it with the faces so you can see it. I don't care what no one's talking about. That's Ghislaine Maxwell. And there's ties that Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell had to JonBenet Ramsey. We now see we have a trail of ties of Jeffrey Epstein and Natalie Holloway's mother, Beth Holloway. So were these children taken and kidnapped, or were they sold? Was this part of a deal? Was this part of some brokerage? Are these people all in on it? Isn't it crazy that Natalie Holloway would go and date JonBenet Ramsey's father? And then she's invited him as an honored guest? I don't know. To me, this just sounds absolutely insane. Insanity right now. Okay? But when I tell you they are poisoning us, they are doing everything they can to destroy us. Guys, they have the PSYOPs, meaning psychological operations of even children going missing, cases they had us care about. Was any of it ever real? Not to say these children were not real and think this didn't happen to them, but the story behind it. So we've got to keep digging, because there is
Forever rolling. Jars. Instrumental murderer. You already know what time it is. Gangway. We the team. For sure. Look. I've been really trying to get it, but them people got their handle in my business. Let's go.